UFC 272 weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Covington and Masvidal face off in this main event. I am very excited for this card, and I'm looking forward to going through it after seeing the fighters on the scales. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. And let's jump right into the first fight of the night. It is Dustin Jacoby versus Michał Oleksiejczuk. Fun matchup here in the light heavyweight division. If you've seen the videos earlier on in the week, you know I am on the Jacoby side. The face-off and the weigh-ins, I didn't think would have much of a factor on this one, and we'll pull up how each fighter looks on the scales here. Everybody on this card made weight, which is a fantastic note as well. There is Michał Oleksiejczuk on the scale. That's kind of his signature look, has a little bit of extra weight around the midsection. Nothing concerning me. Jacoby looks in really good shape for this fight. He's lean. I think he's ready to go. I am excited to see Dustin Jacoby do his thing striking. Range advantage as far as the height and the reach, but also his ability to keep fights on the outside is a big advantage here. Oleksiejczuk will do his best work in close. He does have some power in his hands. He's very aggressive. If he could catch Jacoby with something, especially an overhand on the taller fighter, sure, there could be an upset knockout. I'm just not feeling it here. I feel like Jacoby will handle Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk being the southpaw, maybe at times there's issues, but I don't think so because Jacoby has the kickboxing accolades. I'm thinking Dustin Jacoby puts on a pretty good performance in this fight. I think he wins a unanimous decision. Minus 190 for Jacoby. Michał Oleksiejczuk plus 177 best value. If I have to prop this one up, I like over 1.5 at minus 170 a ton, or I would just push you towards playing Dustin Jacoby wins decision plus 250. Personally, prefer the money line. I'd throw it down on Jacoby. He's a play that I am very excited for, and a fighter I think definitely gets it done. Good first fight of the night. This card, each matchup is really great. Next fight, Ľudovít Klein versus Devonte Smith. Klein took this fight on short notice. Made weight at 155, coming up from 145 pounds to fight Devonte Smith. Earlier in the week, I was on Smith. We'll check them out on the scales here. There is there's Ľudovít Klein, who looks jacked at 155. He looks better than he did at 45. He might show up better at 55 than 45, even on short notice with less of the draining weight cut. Devonte Smith, he looks ready to go. He looks in incredible shape. It's hard for me to go against the original pick on Devonte Smith. I think he can do his thing against Klein here. Maybe a stoppage, but I don't know. I have this weird feeling we might go distance here. I know people have said I'm crazy for it, and I definitely might be. Ľudovít Klein has the power where he could hurt Devonte Smith. We've seen Kama Worthy put him out. We've seen Jamie Mullarkey put him out. Klein jumping up from 45, I still think he's going to bring power. I think more power at 55 than he had at 45. Still, though, I'm going the Devonte Smith win side. I think he does get it done. As far as if you're propping this one up, I would rather not. I like a Devonte Smith straight bet. Short notice fight. Normally, you'd lean towards the late finish. Maybe an over 1.5 play here at around minus 138, minus 140. I don't want to touch Devonte Smith by decision because he literally wins all his bouts by finish plus 335, and I definitely kind of can see the TKO heading into the third round. That's at plus 155. So interesting notes there. I think overall this is going to be a fun fight. I think that Devonte Smith does his thing and gets it done. I'm going for him to beat Ľudovít Klein in a very fun matchup between, I think, like Klein, the prospect that didn't necessarily turn out to be what the UFC was maybe expecting originally, and Smith, kind of a similar situation, but right here, this moment, this fight is an opportunity for both of them to turn it around. I'm going the Devonte Smith side for the win. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight of the night, we got Tim Elliott versus Tagir Ulanbekov. Earlier in the week, I am on the Tagir Ulanbekov side. Tim Elliott is a difficult foe, tough fight, 125 pounds. He is that scrappy, top-level gatekeeper that gives hell to a lot of these up-and-coming prospects, and he has a chance here, but I think Tagir Ulanbekov does get it done. Let's look at the scales. There's Tagir shredded out. He is a little bit taller than Elliott, a little bit naturally bigger of a guy. There's Elliott looking good. Size favors Ulanbekov by a bit, at least when they faced off. I think that Ulanbekov has better straight punches for sure. Wrestling chops, I'm going the Ulanbekov side. Elliott's a good wrestler. He's an awkward striker. He's a difficult guy to finish. I don't know about Ulanbekov getting a finish here, but I think he beats Tim Elliott. People are looking heavy at that Nascimento fight. I don't believe it was Rodrigo Nascimento last for Tagir. It was Alan Nascimento, a guy who throws up a ton of submission attempts from the bottom. If Ulanbekov gets this fight to the floor, Tim Elliott doesn't bring near the same threat. If Elliott is on his back, and I'm not going to say essentially defenseless because he definitely can get back up to his feet, but he's not going to be a guy from the bottom looking for submissions. Doesn't have that type of jiu-jitsu style. I am going Ulanbekov win, unanimous decision. Looking at the odds for this matchup, Ulanbekov minus 210, Elliott plus 203, best value. I think we're going longer here. Fight goes distance, minus 143, around minus 145. If you want Ulanbekov wins a decision, which I think highly likely in this spot, it is at plus 140. So not a terrible play if you're thinking about touching that line. Give me the side of Tagir Ulanbekov for the win over Tim Elliott. I still believe in this solid prospect here. Let's keep running up. Next fight of the night, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Brian Kelleher. Earlier in the week, the pick is Nurmagomedov. It's hard to pick against any Nurmagomedov in any organization around the world. Brian Kelleher is damn tough, though. He's a well-rounded guy with real power in his hands. Let's look at the scales, though. There is Umar in fantastic shape. There is Brian Kelleher, great shape, as expected also. I'm not picking against Umar. I think Umar goes out there. I think that he controls Kelleher in grappling positions. The biggest danger for Umar is if he gets too kick heavy and then Kelleher catches him with a big punch, because Kelleher hits hard. And if he touches that chin, he has the boxing chops and skills to drop Umar and hurt him. But I don't think Umar does get dropped and hurt. He's a big favorite. I think the lines are off on that. But Nurmagomedov name carries weight. So it has to be put at minus 700 best value for Nurmagomedov, plus 635 for Kelleher. Personally, I think Nurmagomedov, the best bet you might be able to play here is submission, because we've seen Kelleher submitted. I think Nurmagomedov could be the guy to do it. It is plus 200 for win by submission. I think I like that line, but it's not like one of those props that you're throwing at it's plus 400 and they have a pretty good likelihood. It's plus 200. So I would touch it moderately if you're thinking so, because you really can't touch the money line, unfortunately, in this fight. Umar Nurmagomedov, though, I definitely think he gets it done. He's going to beat Brian Kelleher in this fun matchup here. Next fight of the night, Marina Moroz versus Mariya Agapova. Intense stare down, intense ladies on both sides. Ukrainian Moroz right now fighting in a tumultuous time, and I believe her focus is going to be there. She looked intense at the weigh-ins. The look in her eyes was serious, and a fighter driven like that's not going to be easy to beat. Earlier in the week, I picked Mariya Agapova. There's her on the scales. She looks very good, lean, ready to rock. Marina Moroz looks good as well. Both these girls look fantastic. I think this is a super competitive fight. I'll be honest. I think that it could be a pick'ems. It's a fight that could potentially go either way. Both girls have, a little bit of, I want to say, slight beef there. There's some beef there. They want to beat the hell out of each other. It's hard for me to go against Agapova if she can be patient, but I'm very concerned on the betting side of Agapova because we've seen her lose to Shayna Dobson, a girl that she is 10 times better. Moroz's skill set is there. Moroz is a skilled mixed martial artist, certainly, and she could beat Mariya Agapova. If Agapova's a little off, Moroz is on the A game, absolutely the Moroz side wins. So not bad dog if you're on that side. Plus 165 Moroz, Agapova minus 174. Give me the Agapova side. That's the one that I'm picking. I do predict her to get it done, but I'm not thinking it's easy. Earlier in the week, I was leaning submission. Right now, I'm leaning extremely competitive decision. Don't be so shocked if Moroz does end up taking it, though. I'll tell you guys straight up, if Moroz pulls this off, I'm not surprised. I'm going on Agapova. Win by decision is plus 185, but if you're on the dog, you want Moroz. Moroz to win by decision upwards of plus 300. That's pretty wide. That's pretty high. And I think if she does win, it's by decision. Agapova maybe locks up a sub. If she did do it, it's plus 450. I don't love it, though. I don't know. I have a feeling we're going 3 rounds in a battle between these two. I'm going to go Agapova by a smidge, but I can see Moroz coming to bring the fight here. Next fight of the night. Negumereanu versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. Very good matchup as far as the entertainment value between these two light heavyweights. Interesting clash of styles. Earlier in the week, I was on Negumereanu. Now, as time's going on, it's going to be a hard fight for him against the tall and long Kennedy Nzechukwu, who has shown durability normally. In the last fight, Unjung got him out early. But Nzechukwu normally brings a tricky game, but he's a slow starter, and that's a big question mark we have for him. Let's look at the scales. There is Kennedy Nzechukwu. There is Negumereanu. Negumereanu looks in fantastic shape. He looks ready for this fight. He's an 11-1 guy. Seems to be taller than 6 feet when they faced off, but that could be the official reading. And Nzechukwu won't make this easy here. I think we're looking at a competitive fight. As the week has progressed, this fight has been one that I've really been thinking a lot about. And I feel like I'm going to go still with the underdog, Negumereanu, win by decision. I feel like Nzechukwu will be there for the 3, as will Negumereanu. I think win by decision would be a smart play. Definitely a potential prop. Let's look at the odds, though. Negumereanu straight is a plus 130 underdog. For Kennedy Nzechukwu, it's minus 130 as the favorite, but upwards of, minus 148, minus 140, depending what bookie you're playing at. As far as the win by decision, which is the one I like the most, plus 400 for Negumereanu wins by decision. I think that might be the steal of the week. I've seen people talking about that, especially in the comment section, and I'm starting to like it a lot more as time goes on. Give me Negumereanu wins by decision over Kennedy Nzechukwu in a very fun matchup in the light heavyweight division. Should be an exciting one. Next fight of the night, Marina Rodriguez versus Xiaonan. Earlier in the week, I'm on the Marina Rodriguez side. We'll pull up the scales. There is Xiaonan. There is Rodriguez. I'll be honest, I got more confidence seeing them on the scales. I think that Rodriguez is going to do her thing against Jan. I don't think that it's an easy bout. I don't know about a finish. I'm thinking Marina Rodriguez outstrikes her, works her in the clinch, wins a hard-fought decision. Xiaonan's best chance is to sit there and strike with her. In the clinch, Rodriguez has the edge. Potentially on the ground, I think Rodriguez has the edge as well. Striking, it's competitive, but I think Rodriguez does it just a bit better, and she's more dangerous. More finishing ability, though I think Jan is an explosive girl that does bring pretty good boxing. I think Rodriguez's mastery of the stand-up game is just a little superior overall. I feel like she's got more weapons as well. I'm going Marina Rodriguez for the win over Xiaonan. Looking at the lines for this one, Rodriguez a minus 250 favorite at best value. She's a big favorite here. Plus 232 for Xiaonan. Give me Rodriguez. Man, I'm feeling confident in her, man. And I like her to win a decision. Plus 105, though. So kind of hard if you're looking to play her straight or with a prop. Maybe you go towards a parlay addition with Rodriguez. I don't mind that at all. And we will talk parlays towards the end here. Let's keep running up. Next fight of the night, it is Jalin Turner versus Jamie Mullarkey. This is a good one, man. Earlier in the week, I'm on the dog, Jamie Mullarkey. Not going to be an easy fight against Jalin Turner. Let's look at the fighters on the scales. There's Mullarkey. He looks in good shape. He looks ready to go. There is Jalin Turner looking shredded for this matchup. I feel like Mullarkey could definitely get caught by Turner, but I think ground fighting here, I don't think Turner's going to be able to pull off a sub there. So striking, if Mullarkey is able to land big strikes, which I have a feeling that he might, and I do think power edge leans towards the Jamie Mullarkey side, I still got to stick with the underdog Mullarkey. We've seen Turner finish before. I think Mullarkey could be the guy to do that. Turner out of the southpaw stance. We'll see how Mullarkey responds. I don't think it'll be too much of a difficulty. I like the way he closes distance. He rips to the body well. I think he's going to throw big strikes and put a lot of pressure on Turner. I think from range, yes, Turner definitely has advantages here. But if you get in close, you get in Turner's face, you push him up against the cage, or you back him up against the cage, I think Mullarkey's going to do his best work from there. Keep the pressure on. I see Mullarkey getting the win. I'm going TKO for Jamie Mullarkey. I think he's going to beat Jalin Turner in this fight. Should be a fun fight in the lightweight division. Let's look towards towards the betting side. Turner, a minus 143 favorite. Mullarkey, plus 136 is a dog. You'll find it around that range, depending where you go. Over 1.5, minus 155. I think we might be ending in that second round. I don't know. I have a feeling it's second round TKO for Mullarkey. Plus 400 Mullarkey by TKO prop here against Jalin Turner. If you are feeling Turner, maybe you like him by sub. It's plus 500 for that prop there. I like the underdog, Jamie Mullarkey, to beat Jalin Turner in a fun lightweight matchup. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. It's Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy, the Prince of War. I am ready to see these heavyweights throw down. I will note this, Spivak looked big on the scale. Something that he needed. I felt like he needed to look big here against Greg Hardy. On the Greg Hardy side, he always looks huge. Earlier in the week, I'm on the underdog Greg Hardy. Let's check out the scales here. There is Greg Hardy. Looks thick as he always does. Nothing real surprising. The Sergey Spivak side here looking normal. Looking what you expect from Spivak. Exciting matchup nonetheless. And it's really cross of styles. If Spivak gets it to the ground, it's his world. If Hardy stands, it's his world. The biggest question is, does Spivak have the wrestling chops to get Hardy down in time to not be knocked out, really? We've seen Spivak knocked out a couple of times. I think Hardy definitely has the knockout power to put Spivak down. If he gets taken down, he's in big trouble. If it's second round, it's the Spivak fight, I believe. So I would look at this one like this if you're thinking about pure betting. Maybe a live bet on Spivak in the second round if it gets there. Greg Hardy, I believe, wins the first. I'm going Greg Hardy first round knockout, but I'm watching this line live because if Hardy has a great first round, look at the Marcin Tybura fight. He put it on him early, and then he got beaten late. Same thing could happen with Sergey Spivak here. Gas tank advantage Spivak. Definitely better on the floor. Wrestling defense from Hardy when he has energy, when he's not exhausted, when he's not tired. Greg Hardy's got it. I think Greg Hardy will stay on his feet and win by knockout in the first. But if it's not going that way, the live bet is definitely the Spivak side. Minus 178 Spivak, Hardy plus 167. I'm on Greg Hardy. I like Greg Hardy a lot here by KO. If I'm playing this fight, I'm only doing it by KO Hardy, or I'm live betting Spivak. You can find it upwards of plus 300 for Greg Hardy wins by knockout. So good aspect. Good attribute. I think something with value. I definitely feel like we could see Greg Hardy getting the knockout, and that's what I'm going to bank on here. Greg Hardy wins by KO over Sergey Spivak. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight of the night, it is Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, aka Big Mouth, versus Alex Oliveira. He makes his debut at 170 in the UFC, has fought here outside of the organization. Earlier in the week, I picked Kevin Holland. Let's check them out in the scales here. There is Cowboy Oliveira, looks good as he always does. There is Kevin Holland, who actually looked great on the scales at 170 pounds, something that surprised me. I was a little worried that he would look drained. He doesn't look drained to me. I think Kevin Holland is going to have a showcase performance. Look at the physical attributes. 6'3", 81-inch reach at 170. He's a problem if he can defend takedowns against the better wrestlers of the division. You give him strikers. I think he can compete with a lot of the top strikers in the welterweight division. Holland might be making a run, and this, I believe, is fight number one. I'm going win for Holland here. I think he finishes Oliveira. I like inside the distance if you're playing it the most, but I'm having a feeling of club and sub. Holland, minus 325 favorite. Oliveira, plus 314. Kevin Holland has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Let's not forget about that, and I think people look at him getting controlled on the ground against Vittoria, against Brunson, and are like, he's not good on the floor. Those are top-level grapplers in the middleweight division. He's down a weight class, and he's improving his wrestling. I think Kevin Holland puts on a very good fight here and gets himself a win. Holland win inside of the distance is minus 117 best value. Holland wins by submission, plus 500 best value. I'm liking the Holland submission sprinkle Hail Mary prop there. You could potentially parlay up Holland. Maybe you play Holland inside distance if you're feeling that confidence there. But I definitely do think he beats Cowboy Oliveira in his debut at 170 in the UFC. Next fight of the night, it is Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell. I am excited to see these featherweights face off. It's clash of styles, striker Barboza, grappler Bryce Mitchell, clash of careers. Like right now, it's towards the end for Edson Barboza, you can say, but not saying he's out of his prime by any means. Bryce Mitchell on the way up, 27 years old versus the 36-year-old Barboza who's fought everybody, 14-0. Bryce Mitchell, it's a good fight, man. I'm excited to see it, and I want to look at the scales here. Earlier in the week, I picked the side of Bryce Mitchell. Look at that arm. Little bit of bruising. I don't know. That's maybe a concern. Is there an injury there? That's something that I do want to note. Edson Barboza showed up in maybe the best shape I've ever seen them. When they faced off, it looked like a boy versus a man, ultimately, as far as the frames go. Now, I'm not saying that physiques make fights, because it's all about the skills. But I have a feeling now, I don't know, I wasn't impressed by Bryce in the scales. Of course, his competition level hasn't been extremely high, but Edson Barboza looks motivated and ready to go. I hate switching the pick, but right now I'm switching to Edson Barboza, especially as an underdog. It's hard for me to pick against this dog here. Looking at the value, Edson Barboza plus 140, Bryce Mitchell minus 145. Give me Edson Barboza upset now, man. I think he can beat Bryce here. I'm going for him. I think he gets it done, and I really feel like there's a good chance that it could be striking, potential knockout if he can keep it on the feet. Ultimately, we have to see him on the feet. I'm not liking the props here. I'm personally not thinking of touching the props, but if you went Barboza knockout, it's plus 305. If Bryce Mitchell grapples the hell out of him and grinds him, that's what I originally anticipated until I'm seeing the question marks on the scales. So I guess it would be stick with the first thought. But seeing them on the scales, man, I can't pick against Edson as a dog especially. Give me Edson Barboza, win and upset here against the undefeated Bryce Mitchell. Co-main event time. Rafael dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. 160 catchweight. Respect to Moicano for stepping in on ultimate short notice to take this bout against Rafael dos Anjos, who's a legend of mixed martial arts. Rafael dos Anjos is my pick when I first broke this fight down on the Late Night Live Tuesday. Shout out to the Late Night Live. If you guys haven't tuned into those, make sure you do every Tuesday live, 9 o'clock. A little plug for myself there. It's hard to pick against him. Let's look at them on the scales. There is Moicano. He looks good. He looks ready to go. He made the weight. Dos Anjos looks prime. He looks shredded. I think Rafael dos Anjos still has another run in him. I don't necessarily know how far he's going to get up this run, but beating an unranked lightweight should be something that Rafael dos Anjos most definitely can do. I like dos Anjos for the win. I predict that he will beat Renato Moicano in this fight. I think it's going to be fairly impressive as well that he's going to be able to go the full 5, beat a younger guy, 32-year-old Moicano, who's a real prospect to watch. I'm going Rafael dos Anjos, win. I like him to win by decision, though. I think it's going to be a bit of a grind-heavy game plan, a lot of work against the cage. Rafael dos Anjos, minus 155. Renato Moicano, plus 148. Those are best value for both. Don't necessarily love the props. I'd rather just dos Anjos it straight. But if you want to touch a prop, let's say you go dos Anjos wins by decision, which I do think is probable here, very probable. It is sitting at plus 210 best value. So interesting note, good fight, fun co-main event. I expect the veteran dos Anjos to stifle the tough Renato Moicano in super high regard as far as him taking this fight on short notice. Mad respect to Renato Moicano, but win for Rafael dos Anjos. Main event of the evening. Colby, Chaos, Covington, and Jorge Masvidal. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you have not already. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. Colby Covington and Masvidal, friends turn rivals. Earlier in the week, I'm on the Covington side. We'll check out the scales. Let's see if anything changes. I don't anticipate they will, but Masvidal looks in damn good shape. Covington looks shredded. He looks ready to go as always. I think Colby Covington's game is going to be superior. I think he just does more things better. I think the striking, yeah, probably a little bit edge, I guess, in knockout power towards Masvidal. Volume favors Colby. Gas tank definitely favors Colby. Just constant pressure favors Colby. The wrestling threat by Colby Covington will be a factor in this fight. Not that Masvidal is a guy you just take down and beat up. Definitely not. He's going to be throwing strikes even from the bottom. But I think Colby being willing to strike with Masvidal at times will then find the takedowns, will find the control against the cage. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm hoping it's entertaining. I do believe, because I don't know, it could be like an absolute barn burner, or I'm actually thinking it could look similar to Usman Masvidal 1, where Colby is just grinding on him. But I expect Colby to strike a bit here and then mix in the takedowns. Masvidal wants it standing. That's where he'll do his best work. If he can find a dynamite hook to the chin, definitely could hurt Covington and put him down. But Covington takes some big shots, and he's in such good shape that you see him recover from Kamaru Usman's best punch, and was able to go the full 5 with the savage Usman, rocked Usman in that fight. Not MMA math though, right? Because yeah, Masvidal got beaten up a lot worse. That doesn't matter here. This is a whole new stylistic matchup. It's a stylistic matchup that still favors Colby Covington. He gets the win, leaning towards win by decision. But something inside of me is saying, man, does he beat Masvidal down and tap him out in the 4th or 5th round? Maybe late submission for Covington is a late read that I'm kind of seeing here. Covington, minus 290 favorite, plus 285 dog, Jorge Masvidal. Let's look at the submission, though. I want to look at Covington's submission. Covington wins by submission is plus 900. It might be a Hail Mary. It might not cash, but it might be a sprinkle, definitely for me, on Colby Covington. I do feel like it's maybe decision as well, though. And I mean, if you got a TKO, I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if it was, a tired Masvidal. But standing and mixing it up with Masvidal, I don't see him dropping him. I don't necessarily see him stunning him either. It'd be super impressive if he did. And I mean, Usman did it, and nobody expected that from Usman, but not the same power on the Covington side. I'm going Covington for the win, thinking decision, but could also see submission. It definitely might be worth a touch with the props. Great main event, great card overall. I am super excited to see it go down. I'll be live for the whole thing tomorrow, so make sure to tune into that fight companion. Smash the like button in here, and then let's jump to parlays. I want to give you a couple here. Of course, we've talked about it on this week's Best MMA Bets show. Another plug. Check me out every Wednesday, this week's Best MMA Bets. Let's look at this here. If you want to add fighters in, let's say you went Rafael dos Anjos, Dustin, Jacoby. Those are two that I like, and I think the value is pretty good, plus 145. But if you don't want the older dos Anjos, I wouldn't necessarily blame you. You just have to cover it with, a heavier bet. Kevin Holland, the value isn't as good, but I do think that there's high likelihood this comes through for both of these fighters. You want to add in more to it. If you're willing to risk it on women's MMA, Marina Rodriguez brings you in the plus 150 range. If you don't like that, though, you could go towards the side of Umar, but you're not getting a ton, but you're still breaking into the plus money at the very least. If I really feel like you want to play the main, I know sometimes I just like having stuff on the main with a parlay to finish it off. I like the rush as well, and I do think Covington gets the win. Plus 145. I think this is a fantastic 3-fighter parlay here. If you want to take Holland out, I wouldn't hate it here. If you wanted to maybe play dog, give yourself Edson Barboza as a dog. You got plus 362 there. If you are with me feeling Dos Anjos, you got plus 219 because, good money favorite, Rafael dos Anjos, over the short notice Renato Moicano. To me, I think that definitely one of those fights that are worth a stab here. As far as other dogs that you could potentially see, maybe you go Negumereanu, but I am a little concerned about that fight, so I personally don't love it for a potential parlay. I kind of feel like you throw on Tagir, Ulanbekov, plus 352. A lot of people are thinking that he won't have the juice for Elliott. I believe that he will. I like that play as well. I think there's a lot of interesting plays you can make. I'll finish it off with like the ultimate Hail Mary right here, plus 500. And then if you're like, listen, give me Edson plus 1349. I just didn't like what I saw from Bryce Mitchell, so I definitely think it's a viable play to touch the Edson Barboza line. If you want Greg Hardy, it's another dog that I definitely think could come through, plus 1,554. And let's just throw another one in, Edson Barboza, plus 3,000. If you can even play it at your bookie, this would be an absolute wild man parlay. And if it came through, you feel like the ultimate Mystic Mac. Overall, though, 2 to 3 fighter parlays are what I really recommend. If you're playing more than that, you're doing more lottery ticket type plays. UFC 272, it's going to be a damn fun card. And as I mentioned, I will be live for the entire thing. So make sure you guys tune in to the Fight Companion. Smash the likes here. Much love, my people. Subscribe if you're new and turn those post notifications on. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.